Kathy Pitt, and welcome to our first edition of PPS Plates. Today we're going to make a holiday recipe of pumpkin bread. How many of you all have ever had a Thanksgiving dinner and you are so busy cooking all morning long, but you've forgotten that people need to eat breakfast before they eat dinner? So we decided that an economical way for you to do things is to make some pumpkin bread. And I have all the ingredients out here, and I'm gonna go quickly over all the things that you need. You need 2 eggs, 1.5 cups of sugar, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, 1/2 cup of cold water, 1 cup of mashed pumpkin, 2 cups of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 3/4 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, a teaspoon of vanilla, 1/2 cup of raisins, 1/2 cup of nuts. Walnuts is preferred. Now, if that sounds like a whole lot, but one good thing about this recipe, we call this a dump recipe. One of 2 things that you need to do is have a mixer. If you don't have a mixer, you can always do it by hand, because when I taught on Zoom, that's what we did. You need a loaf pan. You cannot put this in a cake pan. This is not a cake, this is a bread. Even if you don't have a regular loaf pan, the Dollar Tree has disposable ones, okay? You also need a can of pumpkin solid. Do not buy the one that says pumpkin puree that has the dark color label on it. Buy the one that says pumpkin solid, because this is real pumpkin. It doesn't have all the extra added things in it. Okay, and also, and then also this flour spray right here is what you need to actually spray the actual loaf pan. Now I have 2 assistants right here. These are my students. This is Sienna Cotton, wave your hand, and this is Jada Cummings, okay? And they are students here at Manor as well. So, like I said, this is a dump recipe. The easy thing that you can do about this is you take all the dry ingredients and put it in a bowl, then you take all the wet ingredients, throw them on top of it, then put it in the mixer and stir it up, okay? So we're gonna first start off with our sugar. Okay, and then the flour. Okay, and you can add in salt. And then we got our little seasonings like the nutmeg and all the other little good things that makes it good. Then you're gonna put in your baking powder and you're gonna put in your salt. Okay, so that's all the dry ingredients right there that we need. Okay, now we're just gonna take all the wet ones. We're gonna put every other thing in the mixer, except we're not gonna put in the raisins and the walnuts yet. And the reason why we're not is because the mixer has a tendency to beat things up like that. So we have our vanilla. You can start passing me things, sweetie, and you can put them in. Okay, I have this pumpkin right here, which is like 1 cup of that pumpkin, which smells really good and tasty. This is that time of the year everybody likes pumpkin spice everything, and this will be a good thing for you to use. People even like that all the way through Christmas. And then also one thing that I like about making pumpkin bread is the fact that you can actually freeze this. So you can make this now and freeze it, and it'll be just as good for Thanksgiving. You can hand me the water and the oil too, please? It'll be just as good as for Thanksgiving and Christmas as well. Thank you. Okay, so when you turn your mixer on, don't turn your mixer up on high, because things will splash out at you like this. So you just need to make sure that you just turn it up low first of all, and you're going to make sure that everything is just getting incorporated a little slowly so nothing falls out at you, especially the flour likes to jump out of the bowl. And then you can turn it up now. Okay, and you will see that it's starting to mix together pretty well. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my mixer, because this is like a little secret that we learn in culinary arts. There is no beater on anybody's mixer, even if you have hand beaters, that is going to get all the way to the bottom of a bowl. So you have to be the one who has to stir in the bottom of your bowl to make sure all the flour and everything else is incorporated like it should be. Okay, so it's just a little stir, which is good. Not going to hurt anything. And some people wonder, well, how long do I beat my pumpkin bread? And I always tell folks, you just have to make sure that everything is all together. It doesn't take that long for this to come together, okay? You might do this for like a minute, you know, and then that way, you know, as everything is incorporated, you'll see that it has this light, kind of an orangey type color, which is how it's supposed to look, okay? And in the meantime, while I'm waiting to do that, I'm going to spray my pan. Now, make sure you have to have, whenever you're doing anything that's a cake-like thing or a loaf, you have to have flour spray. Now this is just something I got from Walmart. You can use Baker's Joy if you want to use that. You know, any of those ones that have flour in it, a spray. You can't just use regular Pam, because what's going to happen is you're going to make this beautiful bread and then it's not going to come out of the pan. So I'm just going to spray this quickly with the flour spray. Seems like a lot, but you know, I'm not going to waste the time to do something and then it doesn't come out right. Okay, so that looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to take my beater off now. Okay, you want to take this and put this on the table for me. Okay, over there. Thank you. All right, so now we're going to add in the raisins, which is that half cup of raisins. And we're going to add in our walnuts. And we had to chop up our walnuts, just finely chopped, so that way they can distribute all the way through. And this is called folding in. When you're just slowly stirring everything in like this, just going back and forth to make sure all the raisins and the walnuts are all the way through your batter. Like I said, this is a really simple recipe. It's really economical. It doesn't cost that much. And it's something that if you actually bought, can you hold that can of pumpkin back over here? If you actually bought this can of pumpkin, you could probably make probably 3 loaves of bread out of this one and then have even some more to spare, because all you need is a cup and each cup is 8 ounces. Then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this inside of my pan, and it will fit in a whole loaf pan like this. And make sure you don't leave all your batter in the actual mixing bowl, because you can't eat what you don't cook. And I am one to make sure I want every slice of the loaf. I don't want to leave anything behind. So I'm going to make sure I try to clean out my bowl pretty good with this rubber scraper. Okay. And even students that I've had before who they claim they don't like pumpkin, when I give them this one, they really enjoy it, because they're like, wow. Because pumpkin is different than sweet potato. Pumpkin has a more earthy taste to it. But I enjoy it. And I never even had pumpkin anything myself when I was growing up, because Mom always did sweet potatoes. But now I've learned that, you know, there's all kinds of things that you can eat and, you know, have a good time with and feel better with if you just try it. Okay, Miss Sienna, you're going to put this in number 3. And you're going to bake this on 375 degrees, and you're going to bake it for 1 hour and 10 minutes. And now if you look, this is our finished product right here. This is our loaf. And all we did was we put a little glaze on the top. You don't have to put a glaze on it if you don't want to, because some people, they just like it just like pound cake. They just like things plain. But we like glaze because the children like me. We like all the things. Okay? So, like I said, this is PPS Plates. It's our first edition. I hope you like what you saw. You know, if you did, email us, Kathy.Pitt@portsk12.com. That'd be great. And thank you so much. Bye.